guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, your one-stop for all of the new comic releases this week in terms of what's into the store with single issues, with variants, with graphic novels, collections, omnibuses, compendiums, and all the rest in between. I mean, normally I would split it into two shows, do what's new in this week and the new issues, but this week I'm just going to combine it into one. We didn't do the biggest graphic novel order in the world. There's not the biggest amount of new releases. Still some really quality stuff here, but obviously the last couple of weeks I've been doing huge orders, so obviously packing out the store, so just a little bit easier this week with the orders. But as I say, still some great stuff coming in. So first up is the third edition of these new sort of digest volumes of Invincible. So we're up as far as volume 3. This collects Invincible 14 to 19 and the Image Comics Summer Special. A great run I have got into the store, one of the definitive runs in comics if you ask me, is Daredevil by Frank Miller, Klaus Janson as well. So it's split across 3 glorious volumes. I mean, this is just, some of the best comics around. This really established Frank Miller along with obviously his Batman stuff. You also have as well Daredevil the Man Without Fear, which was Frank Miller with John Romita Jr. on art. I mean, if there was one volume you could read on its own, it would be this. This is a complete story arc, whereas that is very much his run through the single issues from Daredevil at the time. Next up is Star Trek Day of Blood. So this was a crossover event that ran towards the end of last year. It included Star Trek Defiant, Star Trek Day of Blood itself, the Free Comic Book Day issue, and also the main Star Trek title, issues 11 and 12. A little bit of Judge Dredd for you this week. This is Judge Dredd, The Darkest Judge. So tons of creative talent involved here. What if at the end of Judge Dredd Judgment Day, a different strategy was used in order to stop the zombie invasion? Instead of Judge Dredd executing Sabbath the Necromagus, this plan involves dropping dimension bombs to shift the whole zombie horde into a different reality. This means disaster for all the other characters published in the pages of 2000 AD. A couple of compendiums up for you next. So first of all, we have the Sandman Mystery Theater Compendium Volume 1. This collects the Sandman Mystery Theater 1 to 36, as well as Sandman Mystery Theater Annual Number 1. So this includes, stories by talent from Matt Wagner, Stephen T. Siegel, Guy Davis, and some glorious covers as well by Gavin Wilson. So, this is the year is 1938. By day, Wesley Dodds, son of the late investor Edward Dodds, appears to be just another innocuous member of New York City's social elite. But each night, Wesley is haunted by prophetic visions of evil that plague his dreams. No longer able to ignore the violence in these premonitions, Wesley decides to stalk the walking word for criminals who hide themselves beneath society's callous indifference. Armed with a gas mask and a tranquilizing gas gun, he now dispenses justice as the Sandman. So a slightly different Sandman to what you might have been possibly expecting. Next up, back in stock again. We got these in last week. They sold out straight away, so we've got them back in stock again. I've already ordered more for next week as well. This is the Batman Beyond Animated Series Classics Compendium. So this goes right back to the start of Batman Beyond. So you've got the original 1999 Batman Beyond miniseries, but you've also got Batman Beyond Volume 2 issues 1 to 24 as well. So very definitive one for all you Terry McGinnis fans. Next up is the latest volume of King Spawn. So McFarlane's been pretty good at getting these collected editions out as well as the single issues. This collects issues 19 to 24 of King Spawn. Next up we have Teen Titans Year 1. So this is written by Amy Wolfram, who works on Teen Titans Animated Series, Teen Titans Go, works with artists Carl Kerschel and Serge Lapointe to tell the story of the early days of a modern teenage super team, battling criminals, crushes, and celebrity to become the heroes of the next generation. A couple of volumes of Blade Runner Origins in this week as well. The Blade Runner stuff's been great through Titan Comics. It's really expanded that world in a really, really good way. So we've got volumes 2 and volume 3 for Blade Runner Origins in this week. We have the latest volume of Batman Superman World's Finest, Elementary it is called. This covers World's Finest issues 12 to 17. And then we finish off with Wildcats. This was a lot of fun. Great run from Matthew Rosenberg, predominantly. You also had Danny Kim on art, Elmer Santos. And this covers Wildcats 7 to 12. So it was a 12-issue mini-series. Just really good sense of humour to it. Really fun, really easy to get into. And that comes genuinely highly recommended. I'm pretty sure with Wildcats Volume 1 on the shelves over there as well. So we move away from the collected editions and on to singles now. I say it's a quiet week for that. It's a big week for singles. So I probably shouldn't be too surprised. So kick things off with variants. Now this isn't all the variants because I'm going to do a special section for Thundercats variants. Thundercats issue 2 is out this week and I've got tons of variants for it, so I'll go through that in a sec. So first of all, this was from last week. This was Duke. Issue 3 came out. We had ordered the Declan Shelby variant, which was pretty cool. But we were waiting for them to arrive. For whatever reason, they got slightly delayed, so go figure. One Thundercats one has stuck its way in here. This is the retailer incentive 1 to 10 Drew Moss variant cover. So you get the impression that there's going to be these 1 to 10s every time, and it's going to be different sort of design outlays for the different characters. Transformers number 6 is this week as well, and we've got some great variants for it. So first of all, we've got the traditional cover B. That's from Andre Lima Arroyo, who I believe was the artist on A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. Next up is the retailer incentive 1 to 25 variant. This is by Eric Canete. And then we finish off, yes, our Transformers orders have got so big that we have a 1 to 50. Transformers 1 to 50 retailer incentive variant cover by Joe Quinones. Also this week is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Issue 3. This is continuing on the facsimile reprints for Secret Wars every month, and they're always doing a foil variant cover for it as well. Cracking new series out this week. I've already read it. It was a lot of fun. Black Widow and Hawkeye. So we're celebrating 60 years of those two characters. So a couple of cool variants. So you've got Stanley Archer Mlau doing variant 1, and then we also have Marvel stalwart Adam Hughes doing a variant cover there as well. Another big one I'm excited about this week, I haven't read this yet, but I'm really looking forward to it, is Ghost Rider Final Vengeance. So we got some cool variants in for this. So you have the Mark Texiera variant cover first of all. After that, we have the Greg Capullo variant cover, which I believe we have comic boxes in this week of as well. And then we finish off again with a lovely foil variant cover. This is Benjamin Sue doing the foil goodness for Ghost Rider. And then the last one we finish off with, this is the retailer incentive 1 to 10 variant cover by Salvador LaRocca. This is for Symbiote Spider-Man 2099. So we move away from there and on to the indie side of things. So there's more than this, I'm just taking a couple of time. Assassin's Apprentice 2, we're as far now as issue 4 for the Dark Horse adaptation. Blue Book, issue 2, so this is the latest volume of Blue Book, which of course is James Tynion and Michael Avon Oeming's sort of conspiracy mini-series that they keep doing. So this one's subtitled 1947. A big one this week, and this was the first thing I read, unsurprisingly, because, Cult of Keen and all that. But this is Helen of Windhorn. It's from Tom Keane and Bill Quay Evely. You may recognize that creative team as the creative team that did the absolutely amazing Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And this is their latest series done through Dark Horse Comics. It's essentially Victorian horror fantasy. I can't pitch it any more than that. Extremely atmospheric, absolutely gorgeous to look at. Highly, highly recommend this. As that'll probably be my pick of the week, I would say. That was the traditional cover. We've also got ones that are sort of foil embossed as well, which interestingly are the same price. So first come, first serve when it comes to foil, because we're all magpies. Next up is a new Boombox series. This is I Heart Skull Crushers. Must admit, don't know an awful lot about it. But this week we have John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. I've grabbed one of these myself, written by Michael Morecki, doing such great work with Barbaric through Vault Comics, and drawn by Alberto Albuquerque. So I think that's just going to be a lot of fun. Another big one I'm really looking forward to this week is Napalm Lullaby, and that's because it's from one of my favourite writers, Rick Remender, one of my favourite artists, Bengal. They collaborated, of course, before doing Death or Glory through Image Comics. Oversized issue 1 as well. So some great Rick Remender goodness for you there. Next up we have Sons of Star Trek. This seems to be a new series kicking off. Brand new number 1. The Star Trek stuff has been getting bigger and bigger in the story. More people are starting to subscribe to it. And there seems to be a lot of quality around it as well. A lot of top writers and artists working on it. Next up, I mentioned it, we have Thundercats. So issue 2 is this week. Issue 1 was a big seller for us. We went big on it. People responded. Just I suppose the whole 80s nostalgia is just doing very well at the moment. And I think it's just because it's good storytelling. Bottom line, just really great storytelling and good art, well produced. Next up is Transformers number 6. Speaking of nostalgia, speaking about amazing titles. This is the last issue Daniel Warren Johnson's doing the art on. It's going to be a new artist from the next issue, which is Jorge Corona. Jorge Corona, of course, well known from Middle West. Great artist in his own right. And I think a style that's relatively comparable to Daniel Warren Johnson. So fingers crossed it doesn't affect it too much. Daniel Warren Johnson will be staying on as writer though, so it's not all bad news. Next up, we are on to DC. So we have Action Comics this week. So issue 1063. We're continuing on with this Superman Superstars line. So Jason Aaron on writing duties, of course, and John Timms on art. New issue this week of Batman and Robin. Joshua Williamson writing. Simon DeMeo continuing with art. Continuing the father-son issue. This is one, again, I'm really looking forward to jumping into. I don't know an awful lot about Dylan Dog, but this is a crossover, Batman Dylan Dog. This is a $5 title. It's like 80 pages. It's massive. The art is unbelievable from an artist called Gigi Cavagnago. Werther Deladera does some art as well, the artist well known for Something's Killing Children. And we're hitting, they've not made a lot of this, which I'm quite surprised about, but there's a little symbol at the bottom there, Batman, 85 years. I'm surprised there's not more of a celebration around that. But yeah, really looking forward to digging into that. And as I say, huge issue for that price, unreal. Green Lantern is as far as number 9, so Jeremy Adams and Sir Manico continuing on with their Hal Jordan-led title. We have Red Hood the Hill, issue 2, Sean Martinburg writing, Sanford Green on art. Been digging that myself, a couple issues in. Another one that was a really good first issue, and not a lot of people seem to give it much of a chance, but I highly recommend it. Sinister Sons, so written by Peter J. Tomasi. The son of General Zod and the son of Sinestro, they are the Sinister Sons. Same writer who did Super Sons, great, really good at writing that chemistry between two people who ultimately respect each other and love each other but are snarky to each other. So issue 2 is this week. I think we'll have issue 1 still in the racks. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man, we're as far as issue 45. So this is the first issue that is on the other side of Gang War. So if you're looking at a jumping on point, for example, for Spider-Man, this is the place to go. Gotta love that John Romita Jr. cover. We have Avengers Twilight this week. We'll be releasing a new reviews podcast soon where I go into great detail about why this is possibly the series to watch this year. Because the first issue was my pick of the month for January. But as far as issue 4, Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Lacuna. Black Widow and Hawkeye. Again, this was a lot of fun. Read this yesterday. Stephanie Phillips writing, Paolo Villanelli on art. Again, celebrating the 60 years of these two characters. Next up is Dead X-Men. So we're up to as far as issue 3. Steve Fox continuing on with the Fall of the House of X title. Speaking of the Fall of the House of X, we're as far as issue 3 for that. Fall of House of X and Rise of Powers of 10. Those are going to be 5 issues each, leading into the new era for Krakoa. We have Ghost Rider Final Vengeance, which of course I have been mentioning. Again, another jumping on point. Benjamin Percy continuing to do the Lord's work on Ghost Rider. We have Immortal Thor this week, so we're as far now as issue 8. Al Ewing continuing on this. Just glorious Alex Ross covers every single time. I'd mentioned Marvel's Superhero Secret Wars, so issue 3, so traditional cover, obviously foil cover as well. Spider-Gwen is this week. Spider-Gwen Smash, Melissa Flores. The writer of Dead Lucky and Power Rangers, continuing on with the Spider-Gwen title. We have Star Wars Darth Vader as far as 44, Soldiers of the Schism. Greg Pak continuing to write on that. Speaking of Star Wars, we have issue 2 of Mace Windu. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie, this cover looks very derivative of Dune. And I know there's a lot of discourse at the moment about how Dune and Star Wars compare, but this is maybe taking it a bit far. I mean, that's just a Jan Samwer, but I digress. Symbiote Spider-Man 2099, it showed off the variants, so we've got the main cover race here as well. Peter David continuing on with his Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 series. That's been long in the works, so it has. That was one that was supposed to come out a while ago. I think Peter David had maybe some health problems. Next up is Wolverine issue 45, so Sabretooth War Part 5. I've been digging this an awful lot. It's just a lot of fun, very violent. Very easy to get into. I mean, my worry is always with X-Men stuff is that, because of all the depths of all the stuff of Krakoa, that it can be a little bit daunting to get into, but no, not at all. Really accessible and easy to get into. Next up, I'll show these two together because this week sees the release of issue 2 of Ultimate Black Panther. Issue 1 was a big seller for us, sold out of that. Same with Ultimate X-Men, actually, I should say. We got more copies of that in this week. But as well as issue 2 of Ultimate Black Panther, we've got the second printings of Ultimate Black Panther #1. So if you want to then get into Ultimate Black Panther, if you've missed out before, a cover price #1 is available. And then, yeah, look at this. Look at this pile of Thundercats. Already showed that one. So we have Declan Shelby on cover art. So we have Declan Shelby doing a foil variant cover. As well as that, Deck has done another cover which has been spread across a couple. So you've got the black and white line art version. You've got the traditional trade dress version. And then you've got a retailer incentive version, which of course is Virgin. And another retailer incentive one, which is foil. We also have Ivan Tao doing foil variants. I believe these were incentive covers as well. We have the foil from David Nakayama, who of course did the cover A, but is also doing a foil variant. We have the line art done by Jay Lee for another retailer incentive variant. We have what was called the FOC cutoff point David Nakayama variant, which is sort of like it almost looks like a blacklight variant to me. And then we move on and we finish off with Lucio Perillo, for which we have traditional cover B. We have virgin foil Lucio Perillo, and we have foil trade dress Perillo as well. So taking care of all of your Thundercats needs. But anyway, that is everything into the store this week. Pull lists are of course organized and ready for collection. I'm here on the Wednesday this week. Chris was over in London, so you'll see my lovely smiling face today instead. Chris back Thursday, Friday as normal, and I'll be back on this Saturday. So yeah, make sure to check out. We've thrown up some creator interviews onto the channel from Jim Zub. Of course, those predominantly come through our podcast, which you can find easily enough as well. But yeah, we've been doing some really good content on there recently, so definitely worth checking out. As ever, hope this proved useful, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the store on New Comic Book Day for the first time in a while. So take it easy.